This is Always Talking Ball. Tyler Noe, Lance Barton. Let's get to our big game breakdowns, sponsored by Brandon Bills. Click on the link in the episode description or the QR code that is in the top right of this screen on YouTube. Type in Branded15 for 15% off of your first order.
Absolutely.
Number 22, Michigan at unranked Nebraska, 3:30 on CBS. Michigan is right now a 2.5-point road favorite. Nebraska, both straight up and against the spread, 0-2 in a pair of games as a home underdog during Matt Rhule's 3-year tenure. Michigan has won 4 games in a row over the Cornhuskers, including a 45-7 win in Lincoln 2 years ago. Coincidentally, I was at the last time Nebraska beat Michigan. It was at Michigan Stadium. Brady Hoke was coach. Long time ago, like 2013. It was like a 17-13 game. I was there witnessing just a travesty of a football game and a little bit of a miss there in Ann Arbor. But here's a stat for you. Big Ten conference game road favorites of 4 or less have gone 23-9 straight up and 21-11 against the spread since 2021. Michigan is 19-8 against the spread in road neutral games in the last 4 seasons. Nebraska 7-14-2 against the spread at home in its last 23 games. In this series, favorites are 6-1 against the spread in the last 7 games. This is going to be the ultimate test of the Matt Rhule year 3. We've been talking about it and talking about it and talking about it. We talked about it so much that I'm getting sick that we're talking about it, but it's very well known at Temple and at Baylor. In the third year of Matt Rhule's tenure, he turned things around. And I know you're sitting on a ticket of Nebraska over 7.5 wins. This is a massive game for them. We had Tim Murray on yesterday. He's got that ticket as well. This is a massive, massive turning point for the Nebraska Cornhuskers, that in front of 85,000 home fans, if they want to be taken seriously in the Big Ten, you have to win this game. Like you have to. And on the other side, if you're Michigan, you lose this game without Sherrone Moore. Obviously, he's not there. Biff Poggi's the coach. You're now 2-2 on the season. And what kind of thoughts are running through your head, right? So
yep.
Sherrone Moore, I'd heard this today. He was actually allowed to coach all the way up to midnight of last week's game in Central Michigan, the Friday night before midnight. So he was with the team all week before that 63-3 victory. His suspension started at midnight, and it goes until midnight on Saturday night. So he is out, not able to communicate with anybody, not able to do anything. It is all Michigan. It's all Poggi. He has the benefit of having Chip Lindsey as his offensive coordinator, who's been a head coach before. He has the benefit of having Wink Martindale there as a defense coordinator, who's obviously spent many years as a defense coordinator in the NFL. So they're not going to be too fazed by this. But I guess when it comes down to like a tight game, like last week against Central Michigan was not, will Biff be able to make those crunch time decisions? May it be a challenge. Maybe it be, timeout, time management. We see how that stuff comes into play all the time in college football. And afterwards, we get on here in our recap episode and we're like, what are these coaches doing? Like, that's a situation he could find himself in very likely on Saturday with such a tight spread.
Yeah, I need to see him come out in one of those sleeveless shirts he used to wear with Charlotte. I need to see him rocking a.
Not on Ward Manuel's watch. Ward Manuel told him to wear sleeves last week because Ward Manuel's a no fun haver.
Oh, well, that makes sense, man.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Okay, I'm not gonna say what I really want to say right now. I'll just move on and talk football. Hey, Bryce Underwood did something in the last game that I've been calling for since the Oklahoma game that I was texting you about during the Oklahoma game. That they've got this 5-star dynamic athlete that is a dual threat type quarterback that has some serious wheels on him and obviously a really good arm. But they did not use him at all in the QB run game against Oklahoma when they desperately needed to in that game. And then lo and behold, against Central Michigan, he has several carries. But it's interesting that, when you go back and watch it, a lot of those carries weren't like designed quarterback run. Yep. They were him taking off and running, which is fine. Like, in my opinion, the more devastating type of QB runs are exactly those ones when the play breaks down and you're out covering out on pass plays and whatnot, and all of a sudden that quarterback takes off and moves the chains. Bryce Underwood needs to still do that. He needs to use his legs to move the chains. And the reason why I believe that is even more so because so far this year, he has 2 touchdown passes. So far, there's 2 touchdown catches, passes so far for Michigan through 3 games. And I gave the stat out a minute ago talking about, in the Auburn game. 32 carries for 146 yards against Oklahoma. 75 of that 146 came on one run by Justice Haynes on a 75-yard run. That means that 31 other carries they only had 71 yards rushing in that game. Against New Mex,
Yeah.
Michigan had 32 carries for 201 yards. Justice Haynes had 2 runs in that game of 56 yards and 59 yards. That means on the other 30 carries, they gained 86 yards. So outside of 3 carries in those 2 games, Michigan averaged 2.5 yards per carry against Oklahoma and New Mex. That's not going to get it done. That's not the Michigan running game and the offensive line that we're used to seeing in Ann Arbor through the Jim Harbaugh era. So, and Jordan Marshall, he hasn't been very good this year at all. It's been the Justice Haynes show at tailback.
Yep.
So, if you're not able to consistently throw the football, if you're not able to consistently run the football in the traditional run game with your tailbacks, turn Bryce Underwood loose, man. They've got to do that. And obviously, we know to the Michigan wide receivers, man, like they're just, Donovan McCulley's a solid athlete. He is. Samaj Morgan, he's solid, but like until they show us otherwise, like those 2 guys, man, they're not dynamic enough. Like their wide receivers aren't dynamic enough. Like we need to see them do more from the wide receiver position. And I just don't know, man, if the Nebraska game on the road is where they're going to do that. And on the Nebraska side, man, this is a Dylan Raiola game, bro. That's really what this comes down to. Like he's the 5-star talent that they brought in, one of the top quarterbacks in the country coming out of high school. He was brought in, man, for moments like this. If Nebraska is going to take that next step, I know we hate the year 3 Matt Rhule saying that's the last time I'm going to say it on here at this moment. I'll probably use it again next week.
When they win, yeah, we're definitely going to use it.
Yeah, we'll use it again. Yeah, exactly. But this is Dylan Raiola needs to step up and be big in this game. If Nebraska's going to win, he has to be good. They brought in Danke from Kentucky, who's been really good for them so far. That there was a little bit left to be desired against Cincinnati, and they've played a couple of scrubs since then. It's still so early in the year that it's kind of hard to tell certain things. So seeing Nebraska now with Dana Holgorsen calling plays, like what's their game plan going to be against Wink Martindale and this Michigan defense? Michigan's defense hasn't been as dominant as what we thought it was going to be going into the year. It's early. They can still become really good. They've got dudes on that side of the ball, and they've got a really good DC. So it really just comes down to, can Nebraska move the football, not turn the ball over? And because honestly, you tell me what you think. At home in this game for Nebraska, with the guys they brought into the transfer portal along the offensive line, with a couple of guys they brought into the portal, like I said, at receiver, with Dylan Raiola, with Holgorsen calling plays, like, I don't think Nebraska has to go out there and do some trickery or whatever like that. I think they can play straight up, and if they play solid, they can win this football game against this Michigan team.
I hope so, man. I just, it scares me. I think back to that Friday night game last year when Illinois came in there and kind of pushed them around a little bit in the second half. That scares me a little bit. But yeah, they didn't have Holgorsen then. They brought in a lot of guys like you mentioned. I don't know if they can go straight up against Michigan. Like that might be, they don't have to do trickery, but they're going to try to push the ball down the field. They played Cincinnati earlier this year, and they kept like everything in front of him. Like Raiola threw 40 some passes and he completed 80% of them, but he had like 200 yards because they just literally wouldn't let him get anything behind them. So now obviously John Mateer is a little better than Dylan Raiola in our eyes, but we saw him have success against the secondary of Michigan. This is the first of our 4 games, our big game breakdowns. I don't have a best bet on yet. I may bet it on Saturday. Traditionally, Michigan fans, they tend to get to the window Saturday morning to bet the Wolverines. So I would maybe wait. If you're looking to bet Nebraska, wait on Michigan's. Wait on Portnoy and Taylor on those guys to move that line a little bit with their big bets. You got the Bussin' Bowl going on this week and everything. So see if you can snag the Huskers at +3 if you like them against the spread. But here's the deal, man. We picked our games before the season started. I picked Nebraska to win this game before the season. Last week, I picked Georgia Tech to beat Clemson before the season. I'm going to stick with my preseason pick. I'm going to take the Huskers to win this one outright.
I think this is a tough call, but I'm with you. I'm taking the home team in this game. I'm going to take Nebraska in this game. Uh, I do think that crowd, I think Nebraska is good enough on defense. I don't think Michigan's offense is good enough right now. Obviously, Michigan's defense with their capabilities scares the hell out of me. But I just think that Nebraska's offense with Dana Holgerson, I do think Raiola will make enough plays. I think it won't be pretty, but I think Nebraska finds a way, man, and gets it done in this game. I was with you before the season. I thought this was one of the. I think I had Michigan going 9-3, and this was one of the 3 losses that I had. Oklahoma was one of the other 3 losses
Mhm.
that I had for Michigan.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm going to take Nebraska with you at this point. It's not a best bet either for me. I could see myself maybe Saturday jumping in on there with you, but at this moment, it's not a best bet. But I'll take the Huskers to win right now.
Love it, man. Week 4 is sure to be a good one. Make sure you tune in on Saturday and then tune in on Sunday night, Monday morning for our recap episode. It'll be out on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple. Like we said, go subscribe, go follow, go share, leave us a comment, leave us a 5-star rating. We really appreciate everything you guys do for us. 2,000 subs on YouTube is a monumental moment for us. So it's fun to do this. And it's fun to keep going with you guys. Again, Instagram, TikTok, X, all the socials. Go follow us on there. We're putting out prediction videos for the rest of the week. We'll be touting ourselves. We get another upset alert pick too. So
No
for
doubt.
Lance Barton, I'm Tyler Noe. Take care. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you next time.